So in the landscape of Panarchy, I think to some degree, having very few simple rules is better than having a whole bunch of complicated ones. So I really I'm trying to keep, static rules to a minimum to maximize the potential of fluidity in this system. So really coming back to a few things over and over again of, bottom-up influence and creating those flows that functionally are needed in the system from the bottom up. So by doing that, you have very limited overarching structures, but there are a few maybe, and they're just useful systems to kind of hold everything together. And I think you need a bit of container to do that. And one of the containers that I know that people like Ken Wilber talk about a fair bit is this idea of a wisdom council. And I'm just going to add a little bit to it, called an interactive wisdom council within this federated component of the Panarchy. So again, I think the model that Ken really presents is federation heavy. And my conflict with that is that it's too centralized for my liking. A purely federated system is actually terribly centralized, and it needs this, I think, reordering to create a lot more bottom up. But one of the potential more top down influences could be a wisdom council on its head, and the wisdom council might not have really any more say than the average person. Maybe a little bit more technical say, like that 3 vote instead of 1, but really almost no more. But there might be a few reasons, or there might be some monetary reason to be a wisdom council member. I suspect there would be fallouts from it, and people would probably give you grants and things, So I suspect you'd make a little bit of money from it, for better or worse. I suspect that would be part of it. But your influence would be more like a celebrity, in my opinion, or maybe even better, an elder. So in traditional kind of indigenous cultures, which is red oriented usually, and this would be again more choral, at least initially, I think, a vision of more choral centric systems. Again, if you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, go back to spiral dynamics. But this elder idea is in that way fairly red, and but it's useful. It's these are the people that have a lot of wisdom and knowledge from their tradition, and they're handing it down to the younger people. You can get a little bit more particular with our wisdom council. You might have, this is just a potential, I'm not saying this is the way to go with it, but you might have 100 people on a rotating wisdom council. And these 100 people, you might have like 10 people that are tech experts, or 10 people that are philosophy experts, or 10 people that are political experts, and 10 that are integrative experts. And depending on the context of the particular issue or issues that are being faced, these individuals come out and debate it with the world. And the nice thing about that is that people that don't know about the issue and they're making some sort of choice can have a degree of reliance on these people that are skilled and experts in the system. They still get to make their own choice on the particular topic. When the referendum comes up, they get to actualize whatever choice they think they want to make. But a lot of people really hold in high regard experts, and I think that's reasonable. Again, that's the achievement. Achievements are essential to a working meritocracy, and meritocracy is still a part of this. To have a functional 21st century system, I think that there's going to be a part of it that's kind of meritocracy oriented, skill oriented, and those people with more skills will have more say and more output and focus by the average person. So this is not going to totally go away, I don't think. But creativity and stuff in politics is rare, and this offers artists even a place to have a lot more power. You could have some of the people in that wisdom council that are just artists, and they're saying beauty is important to a healthy world. And who's to, I think that is important. We want that. Here's another component that I'd like to add, though. Any second-tier system, any system that I think we're moving into, might want to have interactive components. How that would look could have different orders of within the platform. This place where you're doing voting and referendum systems. You could have potentially different orders of wisdom councils, or I'm not saying this is the way to go, and then you could participate individually in those different layers and have kind of focus groups and stuff on particular topics if people wanted to. I'm not even saying this is useful, but if this is what some people find useful as a federated system, you could do something like this. And then your say as an individual gets a little bit more influence than just you in your house not saying anything. And I think that is important, that dynamic back and forth between individuals in the conversation. The issue that we've found, I think, with the green debates, the circles in general, where everybody passes the feather around and has equal say with everybody else, is that you can talk for hours and hours and nothing really gets said. You pass the feather, or nothing gets done, or very little gets done. Say something gets done, but very, very little can get done. With having a few hundred people or 100 people at the topmost layer, articulating very well thought out ideas, it focuses people into the some of the nexus issues on the debate. Useful, pragmatic, and applicable to your action of voting. But it still makes you feel like you're not having much say in this interactive debate. So having different layers or interactive layers between the Wisdom Council, your ideas can flow upwards and actually maybe even reach the people in the Wisdom Council that are suggesting ideas to the world. And again, they're not having any more voting power potentially, but they are curbing the ideas of the world colossus, the world mind. And so that's important. As an individual in our future, this might be one of the most important things, where work isn't so much important, but rather these creative influences on how the dynamic human system itself mutates and changes over time. So it's a very, very important thing when good ideas flow upward and have impact on the people that are making the most impact. So this is a little bit different idea on a federated, interactive Wisdom Council.